Right now, you might be wondering how anyone can remain calm when their mind feels like a storm. How can they stay strong when their body craves rest and their heart no longer believes in almost anything? The truth is, no one is born ready to bear the weight of their own thoughts, judgments, and even their routine. We learn through stumbles and pauses, when life silences us and forces us to listen to what hurts. And it's in this silence that purpose is born, the invisible force that keeps you going even when you're not sure. Hello, welcome to the Office Mind Code channel. Today, we'll learn about the book Without Strength, But I Continued, an invitation for those who constantly fight internal battles against themselves and still believe it's worth trying again. Yes, maybe that's what life has been trying to teach you all along. That it's not about winning every day, but about learning to stay even when the ground seems to disappear. You've grown accustomed to measuring the value of each day by how much you've produced, and you've forgotten to measure it by the calm you've managed to feel. But there's beauty in simply existing. There's strength in slowing down when the world screams for you to run. Sometimes, the greatest act of courage is to stop. There are times when your body will feel tired, and your mind will be noisy, and you'll think there's nothing left inside you. But there is something. Even when everything seems meaningless, there's a spark hidden there, waiting to be rekindled. Anxiety tries to make you believe it's over, but it's only testing you. The human heart is stubborn. It always tries one more time, even when hurt, even when exhausted. And it's at this point that purpose reveals itself, not as a cry from without, but as a silent call that arises within. Purpose doesn't appear when everything is in place, but when you finally allow yourself to be silent enough to hear it. It's what reminds you why you started, even when your body wants to give up. It's what gives meaning to small victories and failures alike. Discipline isn't punishment. It's caring for what matters. It's waking up even when you don't want to, not to prove anything to the world, but to honor your own journey. It's getting up with the same tiredness as yesterday, but with a new faith that today can be different. Discipline doesn't require constant strength. Sometimes it just requires presence. It asks you to keep showing up, even on days when there's no applause, no results, no certainty. Motivation can falter. It's human. It hides, fades, tires. But that's where patience comes in. The secret isn't to always be motivated. It's to be willing, even when you're not feeling bright. It's accepting the timing of things without getting lost in the rush. Life has its own rhythm, and it will never be the same as the comparison you make with others. Don't beat yourself up for not being where you want to be yet. Sometimes, you're exactly where you need to be become who you are. Anxiety will try to trick you, telling you everything is late. It will whisper that you missed the moment, that others have already arrived. But no one has arrived anywhere. Everyone is just trying to appear whole while rebuilding themselves. And this is where freedom lies, when you understand that you don't need to rush anymore, that the purpose isn't in achieving, but in allowing yourself to deeply experience each step of the way. Little by little, you'll realize that silence isn't emptiness, it's space. It's where your tired mind settles and your heart returns to its proper rhythm. It's where purpose reconnects and motivation reappears disguised as simplicity. A hot coffee, sunlight streaming through the window, a lighter breath. That's what the soul needs to remember that beauty still exists. And before you know it, you'll feel like starting over. Not because everything has improved, but because you've changed. You'll understand that the discipline that seemed like a burden is actually the safe haven of your evolution. That the cloudy days taught you more about patience than any victory teaches about success. That your purpose never abandoned you. You were just too busy trying to be what everyone expected of you and forgot to listen to it. You don't need a fresh start. You just need to move forward with a fresh perspective. The world won't stop to wait for you, but you can learn to move at your own pace. There's a silent strength within those who persist even without guarantees. And this strength is what moves the entire universe. The courage to move forward without knowing the destination. That's what makes your existence extraordinary, even when everything seems ordinary. So, breathe. You're not late, nor are you lost. You're in progress. Anxiety is just your body asking for presence. Purpose is the compass pointing inward. Motivation is the spark renewed in silence. And discipline is the embrace that keeps you standing. Keep going. Even slowly, even without knowing exactly where, keep going. Because life doesn't require haste, it demands constancy. And constancy in the end is what transforms chaos into a path. And when you look back, you'll realize that it was the sum of all those little days, the good, the bad, the neutral, that built the person you've become. You'll see that what seemed like weakness was actually the fertile ground for your strength. And that discipline, the kind that seemed harsh, was simply the purest form of self-love. You taking care of yourself when the world gave up on understanding. Now, close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of the air coming in and out. This is life. Simple, continuous, silent. You're in it. You're doing your best. And your best today is enough. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is moving faster than we can keep up. You try to take a deep breath, but the air comes in heavy, as if each thought carries weight of an entire day. Your mind won't shut up, your body won't understand, and your soul just wants to rest for 5 minutes without having to prove anything to anyone. It's strange, isn't it? This feeling of always being behind yourself, and as if the clock of life has left you a little behind. But what no one tells you is that this imaginary delay is just a reflection of a mind tired of chasing approval. Anxiety arises not because you're weak, but because you've spent too much time trying to be strong all the time. There are days when getting out of bed is already an act of courage, and no one applauds it. But they should, because there are battles that happen silently, inside your head, and yet you keep going. A little crooked, a little tired, but you keep going. And perhaps that's where true discipline lies, not in waking up at 5 in the morning, but in not giving up when your mind screams at you to stop. The discipline that sustains purpose is born in chaos, when everything seems out of place. It's the invisible thread that pulls you back to what matters, even when you're no longer sure why you started. It's easy to be steadfast when everything is going well. It's hard to keep going when nothing seems to make sense anymore. Motivation, contrary to what they say, doesn't come from shouting, but from whispering. Sometimes it appears when you're sitting on the floor, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that went wrong. That's where the spark is born. Not enthusiasm, but awareness. The desire to try again, even without knowing the outcome. Motivation isn't about excitement, it's about faith. That silent faith that tomorrow can be less burdensome if you keep moving, one step at a time. And anxiety? Oh, it's not the enemy. It's just your body trying to tell you that there's something that needs to be addressed calmly. Don't fight it like a plague. Listen to what it wants to tell you. Sometimes it's just fear disguised as urgency. The fear of not being enough, of not being remembered, of not getting there. But what is there? Where is this place we so desperately seek? Perhaps the purpose lies not in the destination, but in the very act of continuing, even without guarantees. Purpose isn't a pretty goal written in a new notebook. It's a daily choice. It's keeping going even when no one's watching, waking up and trying again without needing an audience. It's what keeps you going when the urge to disappear seems overwhelming. Real purpose doesn't shine, it sustains. It calls you back when the whole world screams to give up. And that's why, deep down, everything is connected. Anxiety, purpose, motivation, discipline, They're just different faces of the same restless heart trying to find peace. One part of you wants to speed up, the other to breathe. And maybe the secret is not to choose between them, but to let them coexist. You don't have to be calm all the time. You don't have to be productive all the time. You just need to be true to how you feel. Life will continue to demand haste, but the soul demands pause. It is in this space between impulse and silence that you find yourself. When you stop seeking absolute control, the world doesn't collapse. It reorganizes itself. Calm isn't the absence of movement, it's presence in movement. It's realizing that even when nothing seems to move, there's something inside you learning to remain. And staying is the new winning, because time doesn't reward those who run, but those who understand the rhythm of their own pace. Discipline isn't rigidity, it's care. It's not giving up when your mind tells you it's not worth it. It's continuing to water, even when the garden hasn't yet blossomed. Anxiety makes you look ahead. Discipline anchors you in the present. And purpose is the thread that ties it all together. Silent, patient, constant. You don't have to be well to keep going. You just have to be willing. Because there are days when the best thing you can do is simply exist, and that's already resistance. Every breath is a reminder. You're still here, and that matters. What you call failure may just be part of the process of finding yourself. Sometimes you have to lose yourself completely to finally understand the path. And when you understand, don't expect fireworks. Peace doesn't make noise. It arrives slowly, like a shy dawn. You'll realize that everything you were looking for was inside, waiting for the right moment to be heard. And when you listen, you'll discover that motivation isn't fuel, it's consequence. That purpose isn't a goal, it's direction. That anxiety isn't weakness, it's sensitivity. And that discipline isn't prison, it's freedom. So don't beat yourself up for not having arrived yet. The path is the destination itself, and maybe, just maybe, what you're seeking isn't an answer, but a reconciliation with yourself. You're not late. You're just in the right time to start understanding yourself. Truly. And maybe that's what no one told you. That maturing hurts, but it also liberates. It hurts because you leave behind versions of yourself that you swore would last forever. It liberates because, in doing so, it makes room for a lighter life, less about responding and more about existing truthfully. You begin to understand that not everything needs to be fixed, that some things just need to be felt until they lose their power. Anxiety, when looked at with care, stops being an enemy and becomes a compass. It points to where care is needed, where pause is needed. Motivation arises when you understand that you no longer need to prove anything, that the simple act of continuing is already a sacred gesture, and purpose. Purpose is what keeps you going, even without applause. It hides in small actions, in the invisible details of everyday life. It's in who you are when no one is looking. It's in the silence where you find yourself again when the world outside seems too loud. Discipline is the bridge between what you dream and what you live. It's not rigidity. It's love in a state of repetition. It's believing, every day, that the effort is worth it, even if the results haven't yet arrived. It's watering the seed when the soil seems arid because you know spring doesn't come in a hurry. And so, step by step, you discover that there is no formula, only presence, that there is no shortcut, only constancy, and that the calm you've always sought isn't at the end of the road, but in each breath you choose to become conscious of. Perhaps this is the secret, understanding that the right time is yours, and that, as long as you're willing to try again, life will continue to wait for you with new ways to begin again.